Hi, everybody, and welcome to a ECAD end of year webinar. Um, Today we're going to talk about direct mail, specifically the year-end appeal letter. First, though, I'd like to talk about what the end of the year means for fundraising. So why do fundraisers make such a big deal about the end of the year? Why am I always telling you guys that the end of the year is a great time to fundraise? It's because statistically, it is the best time of the year to fundraise. And if you weren't fundraising last year, and this is your first time, we have several end of year fundraising webinars that I've done in the past, and I suggest you watch those. I do have a few theories of why the end of the year is such a big time for giving. Firstly, I think that the spirits are high. People are more cheerful. They've got their rose-tinted glasses on, and I think they tend to want to do good around the holidays because of this. Another reason it's a great time is you have an easy deadline. So December 31st, it's easy for people to remember. It's a tax cutoff. It's the end of one year. It's the beginning of a new year. But you don't have to take my word for it. We can back this up with statistics. And I have some here. So this is Bloomerang, and they are a fundraising website. So they have a ton of great statistics. And you'll see here that 31% of total giving takes place in the month of December for the entire year, which is huge. So if you haven't gotten any donations yet, or you've had a few trickle in, you're going to see an uptick if you do fundraising during the end of the year, especially in December. 12% of annual donations are made in the last 3 days of the year, which is pretty amazing. Leading up to that deadline of December 31st, a lot of donations come in, and big ones too. People do tend to have higher amounts in donations during that time. 52% larger first-time gifts are made during the end of the season. And 56% of donors are motivated by that year-end tax deadline. So that December 31st, not just individuals, but some small businesses also have that tax deadline. And it is, believe me, a huge motivation for people. Direct mail, which is what we're going to be talking about today, is the most popular year-end giving marketing method. So ECAD is a huge proponent of direct mail, and you're going to see why. The old-fashioned snail mail paper letter is the best. All right, so where do we start? When do we start? Like most things, the first thing that you should do is to make a plan. And I can't stress this enough, direct mail is the king in fundraising. The letters do wonders. And I have already written you a letter, so there's not much work you have to put in on your part. I've made it very easy. All you have to do is personalize it. So even if you decide not to do a mailing, there's other things that you do need to plan for. You want to set that goal of December 31st and get the word out for that. If you are more than halfway, maybe you want to done with your fundraising, maybe you want to make your goal, you want to set a goal. So maybe if you're halfway through, you want to set that goal to be your final amount. If you're just starting, you want to get to your first 1,000, you want to get to your first 10,000, 5,000, whatever it is you think is doable, do it. And I always say shoot for the stars, because whether or not, there's nothing riding on whether you make your goal or not. It's just setting that bar high. And even if you come in below it, you still got those donations. You still did your due diligence in end of year fundraising. If you want to do an event, you need to start planning that. You need to, especially during the busy season, during the holidays, you've got to start planning now, which is why I'm doing this webinar. And you're going to hear me like a broken record about the end of the year stuff, because it's so important to start early. So you're not just like flying by the seat of your pants once December hits. So I will be doing a couple more end of year webinars after this. This one's mostly going to be about direct mail, but I want to do one for end of year social media and Giving Tuesday. So direct mail, like I said, Direct mail, the leader when it comes to fundraising. People are more likely going to look in their mail boxes during the holiday season. And how special would it be to receive a postmarked letter inviting them to help you in this very special cause for the holiday seasons? It would lift their spirits. People want to give. That's something you have to remember. They want to give. We just need to give them the opportunity to give. And a letter is great. It's also takes a weight off of you for not having to do the in-person ask, and the weight off the donor and having to make a split second yes or no decision on whether to give like it would be face to face. With a letter, they have the physical thing that they can look at as many times as they like. They can put it down on their kitchen table or their counter, and they can make a decision whether or not they want to give or how much they want to give. And there's no pressure there. So I think it's a great way to ask for donations. So who are you going to mail? That's pretty easy. So if you don't know where to start, if you already have donations towards your goal, chances are you've already got a mailing list, and I can send this to you. I can send you a list of everyone who's donated to you previously, unless they've decided to mark it anonymous, which then I can't share with you. But most people, I can send you the list, and it's all spread out on a spreadsheet, their name, their email, their mailing address. So you will have that, and that's a huge tool here. Don't be afraid to ask again. I know it's might sound weird because they already donated, but during the holiday season, one of the best things about this is that you can ask again. You can ask in lieu of a Christmas present, or you're just giving them the opportunity to give. And people are not, if they don't want to give again, they don't have to. But if they do, they can. If you haven't gotten any donations, what are some other things we can do? We can send letters to local businesses and local organizations because they have public addresses, right? We can gather emails. We can do an email version of this appeal letter. If you do your own Christmas cards each year and you have specific people that you always send a card to, make the card the appeal. You can get creative with this. And here is your beautiful appeal letter. The template is all ready for you. So this is just like the first of, I think it's 4 or 5 pages, which seems long, but statistically it's proven the longer an appeal, the better. And so you'll go through this. I can send you the template, and you're going to see places where, you know, you'd fill in the amount you want to ask for. And if there's red text, which you'd personalize for yourself. The letter is specially designed to gather donations through the science of fundraising. So everything in this letter is very intentional. The font, the margins, these boxes, the text, the repetitive nature, you're going to see it kind of weave in and out of your story and then circle back to that ask and how that donor's generosity can help to change your life. So if you want to get more into it, and really take a deep dive into our appeal. Last year, I did a webinar about building an end of year appeal, and that goes into, you know, what you need to, what kind of language you should be using. It'll go over the questions that you're going to have to ask yourself in order to fill in those red text areas that need to be personalized. So I very much suggest watching at least this end of year webinar to make your appeal letter the best it can be. So I will share a link to that older webinar in our Facebook group and in an email. Definitely check that out. So once that letter is all set and you've done your due diligence and you've personalized it and added your touch, or you've changed it, however you want to go about it, it's time to print it. So this is the hardest part, I think. There is a bit of cost involved, so I tried to break it down for you, and obviously everybody's situation is different, but this would be like for 54-page letters if you had your own printer. It's about what I saw, $105. So $5 for a pack of 50 mailing envelopes, $33 for 50 stamps that cost 66 cents. One ream of paper is about $7, and if you need ink, $60. So it's about $105 altogether if you have your own printer. Now, some people have a printer available at home, some people at work. Whatever you feel comfortable doing is up to you, but this is just kind of a rough cost breakdown for that. Now, for those of us who don't have a printer at home or at work, here's an estimate of what you're going to be dealing with in regards to the cost, and it's not that different from having your own printers out. $20 more. I do know local libraries will let you print, I think, a certain number of pages. So I'm sure they're all different, but if your local library will let you print, you can use that free of charge. Staples, of course, Office Max has printers you can use. They are a little bit more pricey than what I found. DocuCopies has a very low price for, this was the lowest I could find. Vistaprint is similar. So whatever you feel comfortable doing, whatever you can, if you know, there's other ways. I'm just saying if you wanted to do it through DocuCopies or Vistaprint and not Staples, you can save some money there. The most important part, though, that you need to include is a way for the donor to give to you. So putting a QR code or a link is great, but to come in the appeal letter, which we can insert, but to cover all your bases, you need to make sure that you include a reply envelope so that they can mail in a check if they want to. And I have these little envelopes for you, and I can send them to you. So you don't need to worry about that part. You just need to let me know how many and when to get them to you, and I can send these out. So they kind of look like this. I couldn't get a good photo of the front of the envelope, but they kind of look like this. So I couldn't get a good picture again, but you know, it says ECAD, our address. You can choose whether you want to put a stamp on it for them or not. I probably wouldn't because most people want to give online, but you never know. This is what the inside looks like. So you need to just go down to the bottom and write in your link. So it'd be your first name _ last name down here. And that's really all you have to do to personalize this. The most important part, I guess, is making sure that your letters are in the mailbox before the first week of December. I prefer that they go out around Thanksgiving, but if you know you can't make it, get them in there by the first week of December because the mail traffic gets so heavy. You're going to run the risk of not getting your letters to the people, to your donors, potentially because the mail's so backed up and they get it, you know, on December 31st, or they get it in January, and then they're not as motivated because now they've missed the deadline. So, you know, then they're going to think, oh, wow, I missed the deadline. What's the point in donating? So you want to get it to them so they have the time to think it over about what they want to do, if they want to give, how much they want to give, all that kind of thing, well before December 31st. So that was a little bit about the end of the year direct appeal. If you want to schedule a meeting with me to talk more about it, or I can, if you need help thinking about how to personalize it, or you want to do something a little different, you can talk to me about that. Shoot me an email or message me or give me a call. I'm always here and I will make time for you. I think the next one that we're going to do is social media end of year. So that will be in the coming weeks. And then we'll also do a little thing about Giving Tuesday, which if you haven't heard about it, which I'm sure you have because it's everywhere, is a global giving day. So lots and lots of charities do partake in it. And their hashtag is very widely used, which is a huge plus because you can reach people with that hashtag that you wouldn't normally reach. I don't think it's necessary to take part in Giving Tuesday, but it's an option. And you know, if you have the time and the energy to spare, I say do it. It can't hurt. Make a couple of posts, and I have social media post templates for you specifically for Giving Tuesday that of course I will share with you. If you have any questions about anything having to do with the end of the year fundraising or fundraising in general, of course, email me or reach out to me. I'm always here to take your questions or give you advice. But I hope that this helped illuminate a little bit about end of year appeal, because it seems a little counterintuitive sometimes doing the snail mail, but in fundraising, counterintuitive is what works. And it's statistically proven that direct mail just gets those donations for one way or another. It just works. So I hope that you do choose to go down that road and make that effort to send out those letters, and so you get to see how it works firsthand. So thank you guys, and have a great day.